Step 1, wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
I just received this awesome gift in the mail today, and I just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate it a ton. This shirt gets me ready for the holiday season with Bullhorn Betty.
Once the new evidence came to light, Sheriff Gaylor was adamant that we needed to inform our community as soon as possible.
These were just a few words that the chief of police said at a press conference related to Rachel Morin, which went missing August 5th. However, she was found a day later, bludgeoned to death. Rachel Morin, mother of 5, often found comfort in being outdoors and working out. This was no different August 5th, around 6 p.m. when she went to the Maupassant Heritage Trail in Bel Air, Maryland. Nobody really knows what happened on that trail, but whatever it is, it was really horrible. A teenage girl found her body the next day during search efforts. The horrific scene only can be what is left to imagination.
Her death has grabbed local, state, national and international headlines.
DNA was located at the scene of the crime.
DNA evidence is part of nearly every modern-day investigation, and in Rachel's case, DNA evidence was collected by our Forensic Services Unit. This DNA evidence has come back as a match, tied to a home invasion and an assault of a young girl in Los Angeles this past March.
This is the first time that we heard of an assailant associated with her case.
Unfortunately, that suspect has not been positively identified, but he did leave behind his DNA. In the video we obtained from the Los Angeles Police Department to be the person that murdered Rachel Morin on August 5th.
Rachel, mother of 5, died a brutal death. Can you help?
And the tip line number is 410-836-7788.
Her family has been struggling so much to find answers, and they have been met with lies after lies after lies from a lot of people that proclaim to be this young lady's friends. So
This is Layla Santinello. She has been missing since June 27th, 2023, and she disappeared from Kingsport, Tennessee. Chronicles of Olivia and I went out to Kingsport, Tennessee on several different trips, searching for Layla Santinello or any information leading to her whereabouts. These are my thoughts on this case.
well, I have to be honest with you. I was hoping by now we would have found Layla. So this has been very hard. You know, we want to bring her home. We want to make sure that her family knows what happened to her, I think is really the most important. Her family has been struggling so much to find answers, and they have been met with lies after lies after lies from a lot of people that proclaim to be this young lady's friends. Just like to speak to them just for a moment and just say, if you know something, say something, because her life does matter. For the family members of these people that know what happened to her, it could have been your daughter. It could have been your granddaughter. You need to ask them to stand up and speak up.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Thank you, Sonia. Yeah, when I'm muted, don't be putting it in the, because I'm not even going to be down there for like a half hour, and I need text. Sonia knows how to do it because it comes right across my thing. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my microphone. It's been muting me when it should not be muting me, and I'm not sure why. It's just been doing that for the last couple days. I don't know if it's technical issues. I've been having some technical issues on this side of the computer for some time. It looks like everything's working its way out today, but good morning, everyone. Good morning. And I know I'm probably going to have a gajillion. You're muted down in the chat. When I'm talking, I'm not reading chat. The only people that can let me know I'm muted are my mods. Okay. 1,000. I have a funny feeling when I go down there. Like there's going to be 1,000. You're muted. It's nice to see you, Skittles, Mama Shellbell. I am present. MJ, as you can see, I feel like it's a manic Monday already. And what I was saying is I feel like many of you guys knew that Monday was going to be Christmas and already, took today off. So there might be people here that aren't, that don't have to work. And there's plenty of people that do, because I took my garbage out this morning and it's already been picked up. Like the garbage men are already out. They came in here like a half hour ago. So if people forgot to put it out last night, sorry guys, the recycling's already been picked up. Just thought I'd let you know. It's nice to see you. It's me. Jen is up in the house. Good morning, love. Good morning. Sonia, our beautiful Sonia, is up in the house. Bayou Babe is in here. Good morning. Good morning. Angie, good morning. It's nice to see you. We have 2 new channels, as many of you guys can imagine. Jessica, it's nice to see you. We've been having some problems with people doing illegal conduct here on the streets of YouTube and abusing the copyright system. And so I have been a victim of that. Because let's face it, the copyright's not with me, it's with another person. Once it's in the public eye, I have a right to criticize it. I have a right to fair use applies. Doesn't matter how it got to the public domain, but once it's in the public domain, we have every right to utilize it. We have every fair use applies. So she would not, the problem is she doesn't, but it's not her that's pushing this. It's an unprofessional and unethical PI that is pushing this. So, it's just one of those things. So we're going to work through it. We're going to get the channel back. But right now we're having some issues because it's really crippled the channel. As you can see, we usually have about 100, 150 people here every morning. We're down to 31. Now that could be, have something to do with it being Christmas. Everybody's numbers around the holidays start getting low because everybody's traveling, they're around families and everything like that. But with that being said, I just want to let you guys know we're running on this channel as well as another channel. We're getting a 3rd channel. All these channels are going to be separated from each other. I mean, they're just, it's just crazy that people on YouTube that steal content literally from everybody would have anything to do with trying to erroneously, inappropriately strike my channel. But I digress. We'll get on with it. Once we get the channel back, we will be on that full time, but we are going to start doing things on these other channels because obviously it's important that we have backup channels because of the ugliness here on YouTube from children, because they're acting like children. They don't get their way, so they have to lash out like children. They don't get their way, so they have to do illegal stuff like children. They wonder why I call them unprofessional and unethical. Well, maybe if you quit doing illegal shit, maybe I wouldn't call you unprofessional and unethical. Just saying. Good morning to the masses. As you can see, Christmas is over. Bullhorn Betty's back. Bullhorn Betty's back. And I like pushing buttons. I gotta say, I like pushing buttons. So we're up for the challenge. We're always up for the challenge. That's what the most amazing thing about God's people are, Everybody thinks that because you're religious, you got to be all this sweet. You got to lay down like a mat and just take it and be this sweet, kind person. No, I treat others as they treat me, plain and simple. Trust me, I'm one of those type of Christians that the pastor prays for. I'm the one in the flock that he probably prays for the most, right? Because I'm one of those Christians that are from a roughneck. So it basically means, and I have a shirt, and I don't know why I didn't wear the green shirt. Sonia, why didn't you smack me upside the head this morning and say, hey, babe, why aren't you wearing the right shirt? Right? What's the green shirt? Green shirt is half holy, half hood. That means you can pray with me, but don't play with me. Okay. So I'm going to ask everybody to stop doing illegal shit because you don't get your way for a click and a view, because you're ruining your reputation. And the people that are sitting there, because one creator, right, the one that tries to act like she's not completely, utterly obsessed with me, you know, the piece of white bread that always seems to have burnt hurt Betty, right? She's a burnt hurt Betty, burnt hurt white bread Betty. Did I tell you Christmas is over? Did I cry Christmas is over?
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Oh, I'm not hitting the markers this morning. What? Am I still supposed to be in the Christmas spirit? Oh, good Lord. All right, fine. You guys win. You guys win. I get it. Yes, for those that are just tuning in, the only rule of the Bullhorn Betty chat is please don't be a Richard. If I'm a Richard, I'm allowed to. If you haven't noticed, right behind me has my name on it. To get here has my name on it. So, you know, I think I will be one of those people that don't mind being, standing on my own and saying, do as I say, not as I do. Right? I don't mind telling you that when you're in my house, that's the way it is. Okay? So please respect. I know. Calm down. I get it. Nobody likes to be told what to do. I don't like being told what to do. But I have a mommy too, right? I have a mommy. I got 50 children in my chat right now. Who says I can't handle a bunch of kids? Come on. Who says I can't? Don't be a Richard. Sonia's going to get right on that. Sonia, can you get right on that? Make sure Richard is in pink. We want to make sure that stands out with a nice big pink. Maybe some glittery pink. Maybe like this color of Bullhorn Betty behind me, right? Make sure. I need to stop. Don't be a Richard. Don't be a Don't be a troll either, right? Don't be a troll. Don't be a Richard and don't be a troll. All right. So it's nice to see everybody here today. I know I'm kind of back. Oh, I don't need that anymore. I've already done this. Hold on a second. Let me change that one over here. I forgot I put that in my intro, so I don't need to do that again. Otherwise, you guys are going to be, burn it. All right. There we go. Every time I do anything, it doesn't cooperate, and then I accidentally knock my second channel, my second screen off. So we're going to go to language of letting go. For those that don't know, I'm pretty sure everybody that's in here is very familiar with why we bring the language of letting go, but you never know. Maybe somebody out there is watching on a replay. Maybe they came across because I finally got my SEO optimization right on this channel. Who knows? Hi, Pintintin. Rhonda, Wolf, it's nice to see you. Who knows, right? Who knows? But for those people out there, I love this thing. It's from Melody Beatty. It's called The Language of Letting Go. There are many different versions of this. I'm using the one that I've had for the past 15 or over 15 years. And I find it very good. And I feel like if I get something out of it daily, you get something out of it daily. But I have to be honest. When I don't read this on here, I have to be honest. I feel gunky the rest of the day. I always feel off. I never know why I'm off. And then I'll go back and review the video, because I review a video for a number of things to make sure I'm not saying "and" too much, to make sure I'm not saying too much, to make the live flow a little better, to learn from stuff that I'm doing in the live. And then also, because this is live, and I always say, I'm going to do this, right? At like 15 minutes into the live. And then when we're an hour down, that I'm going to do this goes to the wayside. I forgot all about it. Because we're on a completely different topic or subject. My brain just forgot to go back to it. So then I have to remember to come back here and talk about that thing that I forgot to talk about on that segment. It's crazy. I get it. But the language of letting go has kind of been a staple here. And ever since, and I just find every time I read it, I don't feel as gunky or weighed down during the day. And so if that's doing it to me, hopefully it's doing it to all of you. December 26th is the magic is in you. I love this one. Sometimes we play a little trick on ourselves. We may get so close to somebody we think, I don't have to let go. Or we may become so successful at manifesting events in our lives, we think, I don't have to let go. When I want something, it just appears. Anything we forget to let go, life will jog us back into remembering there's nothing that we can cling onto in this world. Ultimately, all that we hold dear will require us to let go in some shape or form. That child will grow up and leave home. That love relationship that's going so wonderfully, a new cycle will come in its time. That friendship will change. That job you thought you'd always have, oops, the company merged and your position has changed. Although long-term relationships and secure employment and living in that house feels good, remember that's not where your securities lie. Let yourself bond. Get close to that woman or man. Let yourself enjoy being friends with the best friend you've ever had. Be a loving parent, 100%. Throw yourself into the job with all your heart and soul. But your security and joy are not in that other person or job. The magic is in you. Don't get angry when time comes in your life to let go. Open your heart to that person, place, or thing and say, thanks for teaching me the love and helping me grow. Then let him or her go without resentment in your heart. Because even though that time has come to an end, love can't be lost, even if it means an end to the best time you've had so far in your life yet. Look around at where you are now. Don't forget to enjoy it too. This will be the next best time you'll have. Remember, love is a gift from God. God, help me keep my head up and my heart open and know I'll always be guided along the path. I thought that was really, really sweet and enduring. I always hit the wrong thing. And I think I just knocked my Bluetooth off too. It seems like I might have knocked my Bluetooth off. Hopefully I didn't. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Can you guys still hear me? Can you hear all this? Let me know you can. Our beautiful Jennifer super sticker. Thank you. God bless you for all of your love and support. I have to be honest with you. If you guys hear the doorbell, remember I have these things in my ear and I can't hear crap. Sometimes you guys hear things that I can't hear, right? So yesterday while I was on my live, I got a door knock or a doorbell ring at the door and I didn't hear it. It was my bacon, okay? Literally bacon and hash browns. I just wanted to let you know, yes, we hear it. See, nobody told me, and I got to tell you, my bacon almost got cold. I just want to let you guys know how horrible. That would have been. That would have been like the worst thing since the Grinch. I know. Everybody loves the Grinch. Nobody loves Bullhorn Betty. I get it. All right, guys, getting on with our day. We've got a few stories that is out there. I love the Grinch, she says. Oh, no, not the bacon. Almost the bacon. I'm telling you, it's this close. This close. I almost lost it. But the bacon was saved. Well, kind of, sort of. It didn't last long, so I saved it just to mutilate it, okay? All right, now that you know what happened yesterday. So if you guys ever hear the yum, not too crispy. Oh, it was still crispy. It was good. If you guys, oh, that's right, I was supposed to be there. I wanted to pass all this. Hold on a second. We're going to talk about this Jamie Knoll. It's a Noel or Knoll or whatever his name is. I'm getting hungry. Trust me, I've been hungry. I stuffed my face all day yesterday, okay? I got to be honest with you. I stuffed my face all day yesterday. I didn't buy prime rib. Prime rib was it was in a different world this year for pricing. So I decided to do chicken, boneless, skinless chicken. Everybody's like, really? For Christmas? Yeah. Best damn stuff I've ever eaten. because what I did is I sauteed the chicken. So the chicken breast went into a cast iron skillet with butter and olive oil, and it was seasoned to the max. And then it was sauteed. It was sitting there. Then after that, I sliced it into little slices, and I made some rice, and I made some creamed chicken gravy. So it's almost like a cream, but you put the gravy on the little bit of rice. Then you take your fresh chopped chicken, you sit that on the rice, and then you just drizzle your gravy on it. And I made green bean casserole. Talk about yum yum. It was delicious. It was delicious, very filling. I couldn't eat. I mean, I've got 2 plates of food that that is going to be leftovers. Probably 1, because I won't go to day 2 with leftovers. I'll do the next day with leftovers, so not day 2. Typically, depends. If it's like roast beef or something like that, I'll eat that until the pot is empty. All right, let's get on with our work. Okay, we got work to do here. This is to inform you guys about some sheriffs going on around here that are doing some things that they probably shouldn't be doing. I've got 2 stories. You know me about law and order. I don't like people that we put in positions of power to abuse their power. This is story 1.
On the investigation into a former Clark County, Indiana sheriff.
WDRB's Stefan Johnson tells us about the latest allegations against Jamie Knoll. Stefan?
The WDRB News obtained these new court documents. They show investigators are now looking into whether Knoll used county equipment and resources to make money for personal profit.
This guy is accused of corruption. I mean, just a litany of stuff. This guy. We're going to have to break into Jamie Knoll, because I'm telling you, once we get into this, you guys will not believe it. You want to talk about corruption? This is kind of what we consider when we think of corruption.
This is part of an ongoing investigation into the former Clark County sheriff. According to court records, it started in June of this year when current sheriff Scotty Maples reported allegations of official misconduct against his former boss. Since then, there have been at least 2 police raids at the home of Jamie Knoll. Today, a probable cause affidavit details what investigators were looking for.
And this is, I think he was put on, if I remember correctly, because I'm monitoring several of these police issues that are going on. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that he was arrested because he actually got a helicopter from the volunteer fire department. If I'm thinking of the right one, I'm pretty sure it's this one. And he was put on administrative leave, and they received what broke this case open is they received a past due gas bill for that helicopter. It is insane. This man was trying to literally purchase a helicopter for himself with county money. I'm like, this guy is nuts.
One thing, military surplus equipment Knoll received as sheriff that they believe he kept and sold for personal use. They also believe he assigned 4 Clark County jail employees to work on his rental property, private business, and residence while being paid by the county.
See, now that's corrupt. That's corrupt. Getting free work off the county dime. Now you know why that guy, I don't need to go through that anymore. We're going to take a deeper dive into Jamie's case at another time, just not today. But I did want to bring that up. Now, of course, you guys know that there's been some dispute on YouTube about Turtle Boy. Okay, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. This guy, he's done some terrible things. There's a lot of the hate channels that came after me supporting this guy. Had I done anything remotely close to what this Yahoo has done, they would have never stopped making videos about me, but they are now backing him and supporting him. And, just when you don't think it can get any worse, he decides, as we're watching him spin out of control, he decides to be abusive to a significant other. While she's crying and asking him not to leave, he's just this dude, there's something wrong with him. I really truly believe that there is something wrong with this man. I don't know if he's a narcissist or what he is, but there's something wrong with him. And I'm not going to sit here and kowtow. If it causes an additional war on YouTube, so be it. This guy is scum. What he's doing in this case is awful. And I'm not going to sit here and stand by and keep my mouth shut to appease some people. And now he's abusing a woman. I've had it. I have absolutely had it. If you guys are going to be supporting this man for justice, which, first of all, I hate to burst your bubble, whether you like it or not, people come here because they trust my opinion. I give it to you straight. And I don't dance on eggshells. Okay. The bottom line is Karen Reed, something happened in her car. And this illusion that she's just going to blame it on this huge conspiracy, like that Yahoo with the Libyan German case. What was it? Why can't I think of it? Indiana, the Indiana case. Why can't I? It's literally drawing a blank. Okay, they sat there and came up with this whole cult theory to explain why he had this confession to his mom and his wife, and now we've got Karen Reed. Basically, she did something terrible, and I expect her in her defense to fight for her, to make the state prove. Thank you, Delphi. I don't know why I could not say that this morning, Delphi. And they come up with these really weird scenarios to defend themselves. I mean, that's like people that don't understand court systems or understand defense strategies or understand trial strategies. This might be new to them, and they might be looking at documents saying, oh my God, a cult? They're saying a cult's involved. It has to be true. No, it doesn't. It is the defense case. It's what they can make sense for a defense. It's not that it's true. And unfortunately, when I looked into this case for Karen Reed, one of the reasons why I didn't get involved in it, why I didn't run with it, is because I didn't want the drama or the BS that came with going against whatever this Yahoo says. But I think my BS level is up to its max with this Turtle Boy guy. Okay, now you're assaulting women. Like, I got problems with that. We got to be on the lookout for this Yahoo. Where's his probation? Like, isn't he out on supervised release or something? Doesn't he have an ankle monitor on it? Why is law enforcement in that area being on the lookout for him? Now, I don't know. He may not even be on an ankle monitor. I have no idea what the terms, because I don't pay attention to him. Okay. I really don't pay attention to him. The only reason why I'm paying attention to him, to be honest with you, is because Sweet Misery ran this thing on her channel. And so I was listening and I'm like, is this guy? Is this Yahoo talking to a woman like that? She's got kids in her house. She's unstable and he don't give a flying. You know what? What a piece of garbage. An absolute piece of garbage. So yeah, Turtle Boy, you've got the, okay, from the Bullhorn Betty channel. Like you haven't hit any of it. Had I done any of this, literally one iota of what this man has done, the channels that are protecting him would not be. That is called hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. You're worried about me in an erroneous and felonious and BS suit with a guy that says he's suing me, but yet he's not suing me. He's trying to get somebody else to sue me, meanwhile violating federal law and doing so. But this guy right here goes to jail, gets a free pass from these very channels. He can even assault a woman and get a pass from these very channels. These are the very channels that don't mind hanging out with a bunch of felons, right? We got BK going to jail. We got Cam and Allie scamming. We got this Yahoo here going to jail for harassing cops. But yet Bullhorn Betty is the worst person on YouTube. Get a grip. Get a grip. Do your job, hate channels, right? Quit showing the world how how much hypocrisy you guys spew. How unfair in your reporting you do. Start taking your platforms and going after an actual tragedy pimp for once in your flippin' life. Let's see how many websites and clip channels clip his crap today and put it out there today, or talk about him endlessly, about all his corrupt and illegal practices that he is facing indictment on today. Let's see if any of these damn hate channels have 1 ounce of integrity. But I guarantee come Thursday, we will see that they do not, in their disgusting feat to take Bullhorn Betty down at all cost, in their coordinated effort, at least between 2 main channel holders. Ain't that right, BT? Nobody wants to know what she's been doing behind the scenes, do they? Oh. It'll all come out. It'll all come out. Don't worry, girl. Your time's coming. Your time's coming. Your time's coming. So I just can't believe it. This guy, he's indicted. You hear them talking about excuses after excuses as, oh, he's so right. He's so right. He has a right to do this. Meanwhile, I've been bashed, almost got lost my channel, have my channel restricted right now because I protested on public property, by the way. The mother that assaulted and murdered her 20-month-old child. And I had the worst, people wanted to take my channel. Meanwhile, this guy here, this Yahoo here, is following around our police people, our police officials and employees off the clock with their families, harassing them in front of their children at soccer fields. I would like somebody to please, because they say I do this kind of crap. That's what they spend to their, please. I'm begging anybody, if they've seen me hunting down a police officer on his time off with his children, please. I mean, I must have I must have amnesia. I must have amnesia. But since everybody's saying I did this stuff, I mean, if you could please show me the video. Please go back through all of my videos and find where I did the stuff that he's done. I would like and hope that you guys can start sending that to me in my email at bullhornbetty@gmail.com, because, I mean, I am crazy, right? I mean, I lose track of time. I'm schizophrenic. What other disorder? Can somebody please call BT to find out what I'm doing today and what mental disorders I have? Because apparently she knows my entire life, She knows my entire life. I think I should have to call her and ask her. I don't even know what mood I'm supposed to be in. I gotta ask. Don't know what I do with my do. This is something coming from. So over the stupid, I don't know what is going on with my microphone. It's driving me absolutely crazy. It keeps unplugging. It's all set. Let me make sure I can hear. Good Lord. It's coming out of my ears. Okay, I just needed to make sure it was coming out of my ears. All right, so here's the next one. This is from Jennifer Coffindaffer's post that I saw. Betty makes me laugh every now and again and make everybody laugh. Don't worry, stick around, Rhonda. I might piss you off too. You might be spitting nails tomorrow. Give me a minute, okay? Give me a minute. So this is kind of a sad situation, guys. It's so hard right after Christmas talking about this stuff because obviously she's a beautiful girl. She is obviously heavily pregnant, as you can see in this photo, and she's young. Okay. And so I just wanted to advocate for her for just a few moments. Savannah, that's the woman that's missing. Her name's Savannah Soto. Her and her boyfriend, Matthew Guerrera. Now, I don't have a photo. I'm assuming the man that they chopped off his head at the top of this photo here is probably her boyfriend, but I can't be sure because they chopped off his head. Are missing from San Antonio, Texas, and was scheduled to be induced yesterday at 6:30 p.m., but both of them did not show up. So obviously she's heavily pregnant. This was her birth date, okay? No woman is missing this appointment. No woman. Now, sorry, as soon as I heard that she was supposed to be induced and she did not show up, I knew something terrible had happened, just probably like her family did. A woman does not miss that appointment ever. And it's been now quite some time since this, because this was posted December 24th. So it's already been 48 hours and she still hasn't gone. She still hasn't gone to the hospital to have her baby that's due. But that's not, this right here says, Matthew's mom reported their neighbors said they heard screaming for help the night before their disappearance. So there's been some obvious information out there that indicates that obviously foul play has happened. So I don't know if they got into a fight, if somebody came into their home, but with her, they're both not found. Both boyfriend and girlfriend are gone. Neighbors heard screaming in the house. This doesn't sound good. And she's missed her appointment to have her child. So I can't imagine. We want to obviously hold out hope for her. We want to say our prayer for her. I'm sure that she was looking forward to having a baby right before Christmas or on Christmas. And she was, it was snuffed short. There's also a lady that's missing right now. I watched this. This is at Colorado. Let me go ahead and pull this up. It's going to have a commercial.
Veterans, our service and sacrifice.
It's going to have a little bit of a commercial, and then we'll get to it. But I just wanted to advocate for this lady because she's been missing for some time now. And this is stuff that I've had for a few days, but we didn't do true crime on Christmas Eve or Christmas. I waited until I only dropped one video, and that was the Rachel Morin video last night. But that was the only true crime we've done in 2 days. And so this is a lot of stuff that we had.
Thanks so much. And thank you for staying with us for KRDO 13 at 10 o'clock. I'm Sean Rice. Today, a Colorado Springs family gathered downtown in Colorado Springs to raise awareness for their missing loved one, an Air Force veteran. Her parents say the last time they saw her was on December 10th, dropped off by them at a Dunkin' Donuts off of South Academy. KRDO 13's Emily Coffey is live in our studio with more information on how you may be able to help find this missing Colorado Springs woman. Emily.
Oscar Perez and his wife gathered on North Tejon Street today to raise support and awareness for their daughter, Yomi Perez, who's been missing for over a week. They say this isn't the first time she's been missing this month alone, and now they are desperately searching to find her.
I can save my daughter, but
the Perez.
You can see the devastation in the parents, as in most, because when we get to this point where it's been months, you kind of come to realization that something very grave happened to your loved one. And I think that's the reality that these parents, as well as many parents that are in my chat, go through.
Family has spent this Christmas season in grief and questioning as they search for their daughter, missing for over a week.
And hopefully this thing will just be a chapter of our life.
Oscar says his daughter had previously battled mental illness. As a veteran, They moved her here to Colorado in hopes of providing her and her kids with a sense of stability.
She actually dealt with it for almost 5 or 6 months in her own way. Unfortunately, that was not the right way because it ended up with her being missing.
So, I mean, this is one of those cases where, with the whole mental health aspect of it, it is possible. It is possible that she's off with friends. It's when you deal with mental illness, you have highs and lows, and sometimes when you're on you're happy, you're traveling all over the place and seeing friends and acting. You never know. You never know. Or she could have met with foul play, met with the wrong person and had an episode in front of them, and they do something very, very horrible to her. So they don't know what's happening to her, but we did want to go ahead and provide an update. Also, this is the show right here for Sweet Misery. I'm just going to give you guys a clip. Let me actually put this down into I want you guys to watch this. She did a good job at it, and she has the video or the audio up of what was going on with the Turtle Boy scenario. And so if you guys want to go over there, she has a great explanation of the whole Turtle Boy situation. And again, I don't want to get into a fight with him. It's not my, but enough's enough. I mean, knock it off. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm sure that there's a lot of good creators out here that are over it. This is not how we conduct our business. This is not how we handle our business. This guy is losing his crap. He's done a lot of horrible things that caused problems in this case, in the Karen Reed case, so much so that they've arrested him and indicted him on multiple count indictments. Not just multiple counts, over 10. Like this one's saying 25. What does it say here? Let me go back here. 25 investigates Bolo issue. Okay, that's Bolo issue but we know he was charged with like 16 indictments or something to that effect. I'm not getting into it. I don't want to fight with his people. I don't want to fight with him, but I've had it. Knock the shit off. This is not how you conduct yourself. This is not making us look good here on social media. I can guarantee that. And anybody that supports him, you support him alone and all by yourself. I don't want the stigma around him. I don't want anything to do with him. He's hurting women now, and he's causing all this problem. No, done. Anybody that supports him, support him. I want nothing to do with. I want nothing to do with them. I want nothing to do with this case. I want nothing to do with him. He is on his own, and he has been on his own, except these crap channels that support the criminals of YouTube. I'm just getting tired of it because they're trying to say, yeah, it was like 16. It was double-digit indictment. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then we find out last night from Sweet Misery that he's got a bolo out for him. They're looking for him in connection with a domestic issue. And he was literally, this woman's telling him that she's unstable and he's ready to walk out and leave her with all these kids when she's a freaking mess. And she's dealing with some really strong emotional issues going on. And he is just a real piece of crap. And like I said, anybody that associates with him has his back, they're garbage. They're garbage. And their content is garbage. They're in it for a click and a view, not for the truth, because this dude is a bad dude. Okay. Turtle Boy is becoming a bad dude and not something that people need to be putting their name or their reputation on. I can guarantee that. All right. We're going to be starting a little earlier than expected on our case, the Lewis Lent case. This actually came across my desk a few days ago because it was an article about how law enforcement was really frustrated that even after, several decades, this man refuses to tell where one of his victims' bodies are located. He's been provided, he's already been charged with a crime. He's been provided complete and utter immunity on another case just to provide the location of Sarah Woods. And he won't. And so when that article came over and I was reading it about the frustration law enforcement was having with this man to give up where the location of the body was, I started looking into this case, and I realized that this case was literally a segment all on its own. I mean, I've heard of Lewis Lent in the past, but I don't think I understood the gravity of the Lewis Lent case and the wake and the fact that there probably are more children that are gone at his hands. And that's what kind of sparked my curiosity. And I started looking into this really, really, really bad dude. And so I just wanted to read a little bit for you so you guys can understand, because our actual conversation about this, we're going to learn about Lewis Lent, but it's really different. Our actual conversation point is what makes a serial killer a serial killer, because he's only been accused of killing 2 people. And in the grand scheme of things, that really doesn't rise to the level of serial killer, or does it? With this particular case, I think we're going to have to look at the mentality of this person to decide whether he truly is a serial killer or not. And this particular serial killers, every one of them has an appetite for a specific type of prey. Sounds very sick. I get it. I get it. For example, Rex Heuermann, his was escorts, petite escorts that looked similar in many cases. But he liked the very petite. He was a very big ogre of a man. And for whatever reason, he liked the small women. This guy right here, children. But his appetite, he doesn't care what type of child. Any child will do. And I said that. Any child will do. This man is a very sick and twisted individual. On January 12, 1995, serial killer Lewis Lent Jr. was convicted of several charges, including kidnapping, assault with a dangerous weapon, and assault and battery. A year prior, Lent came to the attention of not only police, but the world when he attempted to kidnap a 12-year-old Rebecca Savarese from Pittsfield, Massachusetts. On Thursday, January 26, 1994, Savarese was out when Lent pulled over in his borrowed pickup truck and attempted to force Rebecca into his car with a gun. Rebecca, in a moment of what I can only describe as pure genius, pretended to be out of breath and managed to trick him. When he reached for her, she managed to shrug off her backpack and run from him. He gave up the chase when another man stopped to help her, and he left the scene. Police located the truck after the report was filed and found the gun and Rebecca's backpack inside. The owner was a blind man who regularly loaned his truck to Lent. Lent was arrested and confessed to 2 murders during a 3-day interrogation that happened after his arrest. Lent's lawyers claim police coerced Lent, a mentally unstable man, during the interrogation after Lent claimed that he often experienced blackouts and lapse in memory. When the case came to trial, a judge deemed Lent was not unstable and allowed his confessions. So it goes on to explain what the kind of the timeline. I'm going to go ahead and read. Where am I going to go? Yeah, I think I'm going to read the next 2 paragraphs, or the next 4 paragraphs, and then we're going to go to about 3 or 4. This is why I said this is a crazy case. This is really, really bad. October 22nd, 1990, a 12-year-old Jimmy Bernardo went missing outside of a theater that Lent worked at the time. Lent claimed to have encountered Bernardo outside the movie theater and used a hunting knife and threats to get Bernardo to his apartment. At the apartment, Bernardo was taped to a bed and assaulted before being hung the next morning. 12-year-old Sarah Ann Wood's disappearance on August 18, 1993, from Frankfort, New York, while riding her bike home from Bible school, Lent claimed he was driving along back roads with the intent of finding a child for his nefarious purposes when he came across Wood. As with Bernardo, he threatened her with a hunting knife to get into his van. He drove her to the mountains. He did some terrible things to her, and they believe he beat her to death. He confessed to that one and Jimmy's case, but Jimmy was found about a month later. Sarah Woods has never been found. She's never been found. They are now trying to see if he's 73 years old. This Lent guy is now 73, 74, something. He's in his later years. And they're wanting to be able to finally put her to rest, and he won't talk. And they're frustrated. But that's not the only thing that they're frustrated about. Police and others suspect Lent is guilty of more than the murders of Sarah Ann Wood and Jimmy Bernardo. He has only been charged with their murders. In 2013, it was announced that Lent was connected to the cold case of Jamie Lusher, a teen from Westfield, Massachusetts. Lent confessed to the killing during an interview with police and claimed to have disposed Lusher's body in a pond in Beckett, Massachusetts. They went out there. They never found this person. So now there's possibly a third. This is what, hey, PJ, nice to see you, love bug. I hope you're doing great. Good morning. I hope you survived Christmas. I hope you survived Christmas. God bless you. God bless you. So I can tell you that it looked like this Lent was leading law enforcement on a wild goose chase. But it would be my understanding that this was many years, like over a decade after this kid went missing. What happens, we see this with, who is it? I think it's Rodney, right? Kylie Rodney's case. Well, when we were talking about, and we saw them, Adventures with Purpose find her car, one of the things that they said, now mind you, this car had only been down there for, I think, what was it, about 2 weeks potentially, when Adventures with Purpose found it. Well, they said there was a layer of gunk already on it, and it made it difficult to identify it as a vehicle at the bottom there, right? So it makes me wonder with this one, if for any reason, if this was done over a decade ago, how much soot would actually be on top of those bones? How much layer of dead leaves that you remember, how like when you step into like a lake or something, how you sink in that just that mushy, that's all those dead plants and stuff that just put a layer and a layer and layer. I mean, how, and for you to scratch that down further, I mean, your whole lake would be literally, you wouldn't even be able to see. It'd be so murky if you had to try to move that several inches of layer of gunk to get it down to what it was, 20 years ago. I mean, you got 20 years of gunk in these ponds. So could it be a situation like that where he was being truthful, but they just couldn't find the body because it had been, 20 years? I mean, the bones, would they even look like bones at this point with the water? Because I don't know if you've ever seen hard rocks with water running over them. You wouldn't think that water would smooth a rock. It can smooth a rock. And if the gentle flow of a water can make a rock smooth, what is it doing to bones over 20 years? I mean, these are legitimate questions I have. It may not do anything to them. I don't know. It's just how my brain thinks. So just to give you guys a little insight about this guy and who the victims were, I've got like 4 or 5 little short videos here for each of you.
Sarah Ann Wood was 12 years old when she was abducted by Louis Lent on August 18, 1993. He pulled the girl into his van while she was walking her bike along a rural road near Frankfort, not far from Utica. Though the convicted serial child killer gave clues as to where he hid Sarah Ann's body near Racket Lake in the Adirondacks, her body has never been found. Now, nearly 20 years later, Herkimer County District Attorney Jeffrey Carpenter may resume the search for Sarah Ann Wood. He spoke with me by phone.
We're looking at this anew. We're
The disappearance of Sarah Ann Wood came as quite a shock to people in and around the city of Utica, and they joined forces with police to try to find her.
DA Carpenter says he will convene a meeting of state police and other agencies to take another look at the file. Captain Mark Lincoln says state police have never given up.
It's been 20 years. We still get some occasional tips that come in. We investigate all of them that have the least bit of credibility.
Despite those tips,
And I wanted to let you guys know, this right here, these videos are from 10 years ago, from over a decade ago. I did get it. Thank you, Miss Jen, for my hash browns and bacon. Everybody knows what side my butter's bread on. My bread's buttered on. There we go.
DA Carpenter still thinks the answers most likely lie with Louis Lent. Now 62 years old, he's serving a life sentence without parole in Massachusetts for murdering 12-year-old Jimmy Bernardo and the attempted abduction of another girl. DA Carpenter says he plans to talk with Lent.
I've spoken to investigators that were involved with the initial crime back in 1993. And yeah, I think he probably does withhold the key piece of information. That is exactly where her body is located.
Captain Mark Lincoln says the force is ready to help search for the body once again, including some troopers who may have retired over the past 2 decades.
All you've got to do is look at a picture of Sarah Ann Wood and look at the smile on her face to know that that's the type of case that stays with you your whole career and beyond.
If authorities are successful, they could provide some closure for her family and a community that has one last unanswered question. Where is Sarah Ann's body? Reporting from Utica, I'm Jim Kenyon.
So again, just a sad, sad case. This is one of many victims. This is why I say that. We're going to learn through this process that the reason why they don't think that he would give her up is because she's buried with more. This might have been just like, with Rex, how he buried all 4 of those girls together. That was kind of his area, his dumping grounds. This guy apparently has that same situation. So there might be multiple kids. Not just these 2, not just these 3, because you heard Jamie Lusher is kind of brought into this as well. I mean, this is really a horrific event. I don't know how to explain it other than that. And here's some more information.
Same man who's responsible for killing Sarah Ann Wood of Herkimer County admits to murdering a 3rd child, 16-year-old Jamie Lasher, last seen when he went for a bike ride. These are still pictures of Sarah Ann. Jamie Lasher was going for a bike ride 20 years ago, going to his grandmother's house, actually a little over 20 years ago. He was never found again. He's been on a list of possible Louis Lent victims for 20 years now, but now the Massachusetts State's officials held a critical news conference this afternoon and said, Jamie Lasher, we talked to Louis Lent in Massachusetts State Prison, and he finally told us he did abduct him, he killed him, and he put his body in a pond, which they've already started searching for any remains, which they said, keep your fingers crossed. That's going to be tough.
They went there and looked into that lake, and they didn't find anything. But like I said, could that be something else?
Enough evidence to believe convicted serial killer Louis Lent was Lusher's killer. Now, when they got to that point, Mastriani says they offered if he'd give them good evidence that led them to Lusher's remains, he wouldn't be prosecuted in Hampden County for the murder.
They gave him immunity to tell him where this boy is, and he wouldn't, and still hasn't. Along with, he told him that he was in a pond, but they never found him. And I have a funny feeling we're going to find out that he's probably buried with Sarah. He disappeared. If I'm not mistaken, I think I'll have to go. I don't want to see anything yet. But for whatever reason, I feel like he, as well as Sarah, disappeared from New York as opposed to Massachusetts. But I might be wrong about that. I might be wrong. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Lent apparently detailed the murder and told them they could find his remains in Greenwater Pond in Beckett. Mastriani was joined by police and members of the victim's family to announce the development today. Lusher has been missing since November 6th, 1992. He was last seen riding his bike in Westfield. Today was
So I wanted to give you guys a breakdown. So Jimmy Bernardo was the first to be abducted that we know of. It's not that he was the first. It's just the first that is associated that law enforcement could associate with Lewis Lent. Okay, I kind of believe this guy does have more. We know how serial killers function. We've been dealing with it for some time. We know that it's very, very difficult for them to control themselves. TL, it's nice to see you. Nani Sunshine, great to see you. My brother was a guard at the local jail and said he could feel the evilness from Lent every time he had to. Oh, wow. I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. I believe that you feel things. That's one of the reasons why I want that university house to stay up, is because I feel like, if nothing more, the jurors would be able to feel like, I feel like there's just some subliminal stuff that you feel. And it's like, it tells you everything that you need to know right at that moment, right at that second. You just know. And I feel like, Nani, that's probably what your brother dealt with. But yeah, I believe it. I absolutely believe it. But I got to be honest with you. They were putting Jimmy, all these articles, that picture of that boy, Jamie, I thought that was Jimmy the whole time, because they don't really have a whole lot on Jimmy Bernardo. It wasn't until this last one, few videos, that I realized that photo that I've been thinking was Jimmy Bernardo was actually Jamie Lusher. And they call him Lasher, but it's Lusher or Lusher. Lusher. I don't know how they get Lasher out of that, but I might be pronouncing it right or wrong, rather. Let me see what else we got. I think that's about it. Okay, let's keep going.
Of course, as you can imagine, an emotional day for his older sister.
He loved pets and he loved his dog. He loved to get dirty. Anything that involved getting dirty. Dirt bikes, mud bogs, and monster trucks. He loved to ride his bike all over.
That's just so sad. Sorry, I'm trying to eat. I'm trying to eat while I'm talking, while I'm doing all this. That everything, like I said, is really sad with it when it comes to this case, because there's so many victims. The only child that has been found out of all three of these so far, from my understanding, is Jimmy. And and the way they found him, it broke my heart. It's hard. When you hear this case, it's hard not to want to cry. I don't know how to express it other than that. You want to cry. You want to cry. It's just that bad. Especially Jimmy. The details of his case, they're just,
hopefully
they're bad.
The remains of Jamie will be recovered, and there will be some sense of closure to this whole event that's lasted over 20 years.
The State Police Underwater Recovery Unit will begin searching the Greenwater Pond in Beckett. This is based upon information that's been provided to the investigators that this is the location where Jamie Lusher's body was disposed of some 21 years ago. The state police here will be working in partnership with members of the New York State Police who will join us. They will serve as additional resources for us as we begin a very meticulous, very delicate, and a very long-standing process of trying to make a recovery here.
There you have it. All right, we got one more, and then we'll get on to discussing this a little bit further.
21 years and more than 15 interviews with investigators, Lewis Lent confessed to killing 16-year-old Jamie Lusher. The abduction happened while the boy, who was small for his age, was riding his bike to his grandmother's house.
After getting the details of Louis Lent's confession, the investigation was then reopened from beginning to end. And all those little pieces of information that were gathered over the years now fit in, now made sense.
For Lusher's family, it could be the closure they'd so desperately wanted.
I talk about this. I think about this every day.
Jamie's dad says his son left the house that night upset because he wasn't allowed to go on a mountain bike race. It's something that has haunted him ever since.
And because of his mindset that evening, he was a perfect target for Louis Lent, for a monster like him.
While the family is hopeful, they're extremely cautious about whether the information Lent is providing is in fact truthful.
And we have to take that into consideration because, to be honest with you, how do we know? I mean, outside of Jimmy Bernardo's body, there's been no connection to Louis to any of these cases physically. He's even Sarah and Jimmy, but both, he confessed to them. He confessed to them at the time that he was arrested for, I think her name was Rebecca or Rachel or whatever her name was, that pulled away, that he tried to take by gunpoint, and she got out of his backpack by, working out of her backpack, saying she was out of breath and kind of took him off guard. So, yeah. I know, and it's so sad. It's hard because I'm crunching on crispy bacon. But these are things that happen all the time. When somebody disappears, it's never on good terms. Let's put it like that. Like this father, he's probably thinking, if I would have just let him go, think about how horrible that has to be, what kind of weight that burden has put on his father's shoulders. And his father did nothing wrong. His father was probably a good parent. We've all had to tell our children no, right? For a variety of reasons. Some we don't want them going because we feel it's too dangerous. We want to be there and we're unable to be there with them. Another reason may be financial. We can't afford to send you there. We can't afford you to, and a flip side to that, it costs nothing to get there, but we can't afford them to go because what if something happens? We can't afford those medical bills. So I don't know what the situation is. It sounds like he wanted to go mountain biking, and he probably could have, but we don't know what type of situation it was. Maybe he wasn't doing his homework. Maybe his dad had grounded him. We don't know. Either way, there's no guarantees just because you ask mommy and daddy if you can do something that you're guaranteed to do it. But what a shame. What an absolute shame that his father, Jamie's father, had to carry that weight on his shoulders this entire time. They've never found Jamie. They've never found Sarah. They have found Jimmy, and I got to tell you, the condition of Jimmy was enough to give you chills, enough to make us as adults sleep with one eye open, especially if we have children. That is what I can tell you. We're going to get into a little bit more details of these crimes. If you are struggling, if you have issues, with dealing with this type of conversation, these are children, these are teenage kids that we're talking about. But we're going to get into more details of these cases. So if that's just a little too much for you to handle, now would be a great time for you to exit. The event that brought accused serial child killer Louis Lent to the attention of authorities and the world was at January 7, 1994 attack of the 12-year-old Rebecca. On Thursday, January 12th, Louis Lent was convicted of several charges related to the attack. There were kidnapping, larceny, assault with a dangerous weapon, assault and battery. Becky testified against him at trial and identified him in court. Police arrested Lent after they found the truck with the backpack and the loaded gun inside. One of the alleged victims was 12-year-old James Bernardo, who disappeared from Pittsfield, Massachusetts movie theater on October 22nd, 1990. Lent worked at the theater at the time, but was not considered a suspect. According to Lent's confession, he encountered Jimmy Bernardo outside the theater and used a hunting knife and death threats to force him to come along. Back at his apartment, he taped the boy to his bed, cut off his clothes. We'll leave it at that. The next morning, he killed him by hanging. He claimed that was his intent all along, was to unalive Jimmy. Jimmy's nude body was found in Newfield, New York. I got to read this. Lent frequent trips to visit his family in New York allegedly figured in the new case. On August 18th, 1993, disappeared a 12-year-old Sarah Ann Wood from Frankfort, New York. So yeah. So Jimmy vanished from Massachusetts, but was discovered in New York. The 12-year-old was Sarah disappeared from New York and has never been found. And then we heard that Jamie Lusher was also, and I'm pretty sure he was also taken from New York. So it seems like his area, even though this one boy was from Massachusetts, he was still dumped in, like, it sounds like an area that was familiar with Lent. But he was the only one that has been found so far. According to Lent's confession, he was driving his van along the back roads with specific intent of finding a child to hurt. When I say hurt, I mean to grape. Okay, to grape. So I just want to make sure, and to kill, not unalive, grape and unalive. Okay, so when I say hurt, that's what I'm referring to when I'm dealing with this particular article. So the intent of finding a child to hurt. When he came across Sarah, he used a hunting knife and forced her into the van, and then used tape to bind her hands. He drove further upstate into the Adirondack Mountains, if I'm saying that right, where he hurt her and then clubbed her with a tree branch. She's never been found. Reportedly, Lent drew police a map to where Sarah is buried, but despite two massive search, one in dead winter under brutal conditions, the other one in spring thaw, her body was never found. Lent has been charged with killing Sarah, but only with the confession used against him. There is some doubt as to how effective he can be prosecuted. His lawyer barred any attempt to bring him to New York to improve on their map or expand on his confession. Attempts have been made to link Lent to other cases. For a time, a 50-member task force composed of FBI agents and members of several New York and Massachusetts agencies, but that has since been disbanded. They do believe, and he did make reference, that he wasn't going to tell them where Sarah's body was, due to the fact that there were potentially other bodies there. I don't know how that information came out, if he said that or if they just assumed it, but I did read it in several articles that it was said. Now, and this is going to be the account of Rebecca. This is the 12-year-old that did survive. She would have been most likely she would have been most likely dead if she didn't think quickly on her feet. And I can guarantee you, her parents probably taught her a lot of that. Because my parents taught me a lot as well. This is about the one that survived, okay? He told me, do everything I say and everything will be all right. The 12-year-old girl thought otherwise. Her gut told her if she did what he said, she would never see her mother again. Her actions would not only save her life, but set off a series of events that would capture a child serial killer. That fateful morning, January 7th, 1994, began like any other for Rebecca, who just moments before the man came up behind her was making her daily trek West Street towards Park Square on her way to Notre Dame Middle School. The speaker, a scruffy man wearing a wire-frame glasses, had a gun and a firm grip on her backpack. He told her to get in his black GMC pickup truck. Instead, she said she needed to sit for a moment, feigned with an asthma attack, and wriggled out of her backpack. She bolted down West Street toward the nearest adult, a man snowblowing the sidewalk in front of KB Toys headquarters. Nearby observers stopped at the intersection of North and West Streets initially thought that they were witnessing an argument between a father and a daughter, but when the girl ran, they quickly realized it was something more. One memorialized what he could of the truck's license plate and even attempted to pursue the truck as it sped off. Later that day, Pittsfield Police Department would begin questioning Louis Lent, 43, an out-of-work handyman and former janitor at the Pittsburgh Cinema, whom one officer thought could be the break in an unsolved kidnapping and murder of another 12-year-old from Pittsfield, Jimmy Bernardo. It's a story most Berkshire County residents are all familiar with, but not the story of Marjorie Metzger, author of Hidden Demons. Evil visits a small town in small New England town, originally intended to write. Instead, her original focus was Owen Boynton, a police officer who brought Lent in for questioning, and his daughter, Amy, then college student who caught her own criminal that same day. So it started for one thing and ended up being another. Amy Boynton was working as a lifeguard at Girls Inc. when two of her younger charges reported a man was in the locker room, a well-dressed man who appeared to be doing things to himself inside of one of the stalls. She pursued him, catching him and knocking him to the ground. She held him down until the police had arrived. So that was really what the original story was about, but it kind of manifested itself into this story about Louis Lent and the carnage. Through her research in newspapers, television interviews, and court documents, through her interviews with individuals involved in the cases, Metzger painted a vivid picture of Lent, a man who presented himself to the public as a person of little interest. He was a good, God-fearing Christian who donated his time to his church, volunteered to drive friends to appointments, and help those in need, and had a good work ethic. But he was also a man who had a multi-point plan to abduct and keep young girls hidden, I should say young children, because clearly he doesn't have a preference, in a hidden room, who told police he was always on the hunt. That's what he told law enforcement, that he was always on the hunt, who kept detailed records of young girls and boys he was interested in. So if this gives you an idea of the type of man Louis Lent is, now you understand my question. Is he a serial killer? Because he's only been charged with two, even a decade later of him confessing to Jamie Lusher. He has never been convicted of that crime. He has not been. He's 73 years old right now, never been convicted of that crime. They still have not found Sarah. The only person that they did find was Jimmy. And the condition of his body and the brutality this man exhibited upon that young boy is disgusting. And I got to tell you, I've got detailed information of what was done to that boy. And again, absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Louis Lent is not a good guy. I definitely believe, because how it went, it was 1990. Then it was 1992, and then 93. And then I think he was caught in 94. Something like that, because 90 was Jimmy. And I don't believe from 90 to 92, when he hit Sarah, and I can't remember when that was, but he hit Sarah. He got Sarah that day. Let me go back here to this one. When was Sarah taken? Okay, so this is how it went. It went, Jimmy was October 22nd, 1990. And then Sarah was August 18th, 1993, almost 3 years later to the date. I don't believe this man went from 90 to 93 without anybody, because like he said, he's always on the hunt. He was always looking for the people. He drove backwood roads just to find a child alone riding their bike. That was his prey. Those were the grounds that he was hunting on, because he knew that those young kids out in the rural areas had no supervision. It was safe. And he could snag them for his own deviant purposes. His own deviant purposes. It's disgusting. And I can't say that enough. It's absolutely, utterly disgusting. For 28 years, Jimmy's parents, Mary and Ron Bernardo, brother Rob, countless family members and friends have kept his memory alive by supporting Kids Place. Jimmy, a Pittsfield native, was abducted near a movie theater October 22nd, 1990. A month later, the 12-year-old's body was found in Ithaca, New York. And I can tell you, I know somebody from Ithaca, and they said it's a small little town. Small little town. Everybody knows everybody in Ithaca. Everybody knows everybody. Although the investigation continued, nothing substantial occurred until January 1994, when a resident of Pittsfield was arrested for the abduction of the young girl. That really did set off the chain reaction that they had. Now, this is an article that came out just recently. I mean, not recent, but, August, within the last few months. And here's what it is. It says Frankfurt, a 30-year law enforcement of Herkimer County, has been searching for the remains of 12-year-old Sarah Ann Woods, but only one person knows where she's buried: convicted child killer Lewis S. Lent Jr. Now 73, Lent was serving life in Massachusetts prior to the abduction, in Massachusetts prison for the abduction and murder of a different 12-year-old. He was convicted of abducting and killing Woods in Herkimer County in 1996 and has a 25-year life sentence waiting for him in New York. To this day, Lynn has not provided investigators with the location of Woods' remains, and they keep asking. Investigators with New York State Police Major Crimes Unit and Oneida visits Lent several times a year to keep that line of communication open. I do believe he knows. Yes, I believe he knows. He has indicated various times with Major Crimes that he wants to tell us, but he's just not ready. I think he knows exactly where she is, said Herkimer County District Attorney Jeff Carpenter. The Major Crimes Unit have really been thinking outside of the box on this and have really have tried really everything to get him to tell us. They've tried everything. I just think he's just not ready to tell us. When he is, he will, but he may never. Sarah Ann Wood was last seen alive on August 18, 1993, riding her bike on Hackadam Road in Frankfurt, near both her home and Norwick Corner Church, where her father was a pastor. She was taken by a 43-year-old Lent of Massachusetts, who killed her and is believed to have buried her body somewhere in the greater Adirondacks area. I don't know if I'm saying that right. My hooked on phonics is broken. After he was arrested, Lent claimed that he buried Wood near Racket Lake in the town of Inlet, and even drew a map for investigators. The area was searched extensively, but Wood's remains were not found. Numerous searches over the years have been conducted in multiple areas. State Police Senior Investigator Dennis Daughtry said the members of the Major Crimes Unit still visit Lent several times a year, and they have already visited him this year as well. He said Lent appears healthy and has given no signs of any medical problems. Lent remains alive, and therefore the hope remains alive that he will reveal the truth in time. He's been open to us, and to the extent that he will be absolutely engaged in conversation with us. He's indicated that he has indicated to us that he really wants to resolve the matter, but he has a different time describing to us what's holding him back. Daughtry explained, he said, very difficult to say what might be holding Lent back from revealing the truth. The state police have engaged with the FBI's behavioral science unit throughout the years to try to understand. At this point, we really focus on maintaining an open line of communication with him in hopes that at some point he will assist us in resolving this. Ride for Missing Children. The legacy of the disappearance of Sarah Ann Woods remains as strong as ever, from children from 1993, now parents themselves, to organizations and events that help keep her memory alive. One such event is the annual Ride for Missing Children, which is the biggest annual fundraiser for the National Center for Exploited and Missing and Exploited Children. The bicycle ride is held multiple times a year in multiple locations across the state. It started with just Wood's father, Robert Bob Wood, and several men riding bicycles from New York to Washington, D.C. Because I was just writing so much about Sarah and research, I was invited to join the team that made the first ride. We went from the local branch of National Center for Missing and Exploited Children that had been set up in a former restaurant in Washington Mills, and ended up in Washington, D.C., recalled the former newspaper Joe Kelly. Bob Wood insisted that we ride every mile on the trip to Washington, D.C. So at the end of the day, he loaded our bikes onto a trailer and climbed into the support vehicle. We sometimes had to drive ahead 5 or 10 miles or whatever to find a motel. But in the morning, we would drive back to the exact place we stopped that day, and we rode every mile that trip to DC. So they've been doing a lot. Major crimes at the state police in Oneida is still accepting leads. So if you have any information, please reach out to 315-366-6000. I think that's about it, folks. I'm trying to see if there's any. I got a few other things, but I don't want to keep repeating. I just had certain things up here. It was like talking to the devil himself. I think that's what one of the other people had said in here about her brother. Excuse me, brother. Excuse me, I've got hiccups. So I think that my final thoughts on this particular case, because it really wasn't about Louis Lent or, his victims when it came to this case. It really was about whether or not Louis Lent is a serial killer, a serial child killer, right? That really was kind of the line, because the question here is there's only 2 bodies that he has been convicted of. It doesn't really rise to the level of being classified as a serial killer, so some may think. But for me, I truly believe that serial killers is a mindset, not a body count. I think it's a mindset. It's a behavioral issue. It's a brain issue. It's a addictive issue. So does he have those qualities about him? And my answer, and in my opinion, the answer is yes. He may only have 2 people that he's been convicted of for murdering, 2 children that he's convicted of for murdering. But is he a serial killer? And I believe his intent, his mindset, his personality, and who he is as an individual is that he is. I absolutely 100%. There's not a bone in my body that does not believe there are other children attached to this monster. I hope you guys learned a little bit more about the Louis Lent case. It's not something, like I said, this was something I was just going to briefly discuss with you guys and tell you guys that, their law enforcement's getting frustrated with this 30-year-old case. The murderer won't tell them where the body is. So I thought it was just going to be, a quick 5-minute little segment as we went into one of our Brian Koberger's, Rex Heuermann, or Alec Murdaugh cases, right? And then when I kept going into this and I kept reading it, I'm like, geez, this guy's like really, really bad. There's a lot to unpack with this case. I can't just say, he's been found, he won't cooperate. People are going to want to know who this Louis Lent is. And when I start talking about him, they're really going to want to know who Louis Lent is. So I kept looking and kept looking and kept looking. It's like, holy crap, this guy is a monster. He's a monster that has been in jail for literally decades, and he is still able to this day to wield abuse upon his victims and his victims' families, because he will not cooperate. He will not admit to it. And every time you turn around, he's admitting to another child. But it seems like they have to have some evidence to get him. Like, hey, you're starting to look pretty guilty in this other kid. Did you do it? Well, yeah, I kind of did. How many more of those are we going to find out when it comes to Louis Lent? This guy was a bad guy. And some have they want either girls or boys. This guy didn't care. He's that kind of sicko. He just wanted a kid. but he wasn't with the, the young kids. He had a specific appetite for tweens, right? Those kids that, and even the 16-year-old, Jamie Lusher, was very small for his age. So even though he was 16 years old, I think he thought he was 12. Because it seemed like that tween areas where this Lewis Lent likes to keep his victims, which I just think is twisted in and of itself. So I hope you guys learned something. I would be opening the phones right now, but I don't know if anybody really wants to talk about this case or anybody knows really a whole lot about this case. I brought it up because it was very interesting to me when I was looking under the hood. And I got to say, I didn't know that this guy existed. And now that I know that this guy exists, as sick as my brain is, the next question is like, how many more of these sickos live among us? How many more? We got a lot more than we're being told. All right, guys, that's the end of our show for today. I'm not sure what I'm going to do at noon. I haven't found a new, I'm probably not going to do a noon show today. I'm probably going to do one at 6:30 tonight. The noon show, I got to find another topic. I like the noon show to last, a week. So every week I like to have a new article, case study, or something like that, because that's going to really direct our noon show. I don't have one. So we might cancel noon all this week. I'll see if I can find a small little segment to fill in for the noon this week. If not, then we'll have to start fresh next week. And we'll have a great topic to discuss next week. All right, guys, I want you guys to rock it out with your coffee beans out. Merry Christmas to all the people that survived. I survived. I was in bliss. I didn't really have a lot of anything to do except make dinner for my neighbor. And dinner was good. So it wasn't the dinner I wanted, but it was delicious. It was delicious. Thank you, Nani. You take care. All right, guys, you guys have an amazing day. We'll see you back here tonight at 6:30. We're running on both channels. If you guys want to do me a solid and get over to the new channel and just let it run, turn your volume off and just let it run. We need to build up the watch time hours over there on that channel. There's not a whole lot to watch over there just yet, but we need to get that monetized. We've got this one already monetized, and we're going to be working on getting our other channel back, which we should have back within the next week. So hopefully everything will work itself out, but I don't anticipate it because I deal with criminals. These people are criminals. They're a criminal element here on YouTube, and I'm getting so sick and tired of them thinking they can use crimes to get their way. No, we're law and order over here. We believe in God. We believe in doing the right thing, and we will always be successful. Always, always, always. God bless. Take care.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.